Welcome to Mark Henry Golf. So today we are going through how to improve your golf attacking the early extension, which is a very physically demanding manoeuvre. It's quite tricky, but has a massive impact on swing playing, strike, the works, power, everything really. So before we get stuck in, if you could, subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up, follow, that would be cool. Right, let's get stuck into the video, shall we? So we have three main points to cover, just three tiny adjustments which could make a huge difference. So first of all, we'll just cover what the early extension is. So if I go into my posture position, and then as you see a line going down my glutes just by the back of my foot. So as you swing back and you turn, so ideally you're trying to stay on that line. So as you're turning, you're turning into that line. So if there was a box behind you, you're trying to knock it over. If there was a wall behind you, you're trying to turn into the wall. So that's that early extension line. Ideally, as you then go back through the shot, you're then trying to get that transition from the downswing onto the follow through and still try and stay on that line, which is extremely difficult to achieve. Now where people would make it even harder is if they swing back and then they come forward on the backswing, so then it's either loss of posture, so you've stood up, which has then caused the bottom half to come forward. It could be as you're driving through, you've got a lively right hip and sprung forward. So basically if you lose that position on the backswing, so you come off that line, the pressure will then move forward to the toes. So then the next move is going to be even harder. So as you swing through, you're going to go further forward or you're going to come up. So as you come through the shot, there's got to be some kind of adjustment. So then chicken wings start happening, fats and fins start happening, reduction in power will also start happening. So let's go through three very simple but very effective adjustments which can help get that turn on the way back, so then you stay in a better position on that line, which will give you a better chance of producing a better downswing. Right, number one is quite straightforward, width of stance. So that is extremely important. It's very easy to get too wide a stance. So if you're doing the splits per se, which I can't demonstrate today, I've got the wrong trousers on, which obviously I can do the splits, no problem. So the wider stance is very difficult to turn the hips. So if you can't rotate properly with the lower half of the body, you're likely then to come forward off that line. So play about with the width of your stance. You don't want to feel like you're going to fall over, but you need to be able to get some kind of rotation with that lower half of the body. So if you try just over hip width apart, which then goes in sync with number two, which number two is the angle of our feet. So very easy to slip into feet pointing straight, which so if you rotate that and turn your left foot in, say for example, turn both feet in and they're both pointing towards each other as such, and then you try and manoeuvre, your kneecaps aren't going to like that. So if you then have your feet just pointing out slightly, say 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, so when you turn back, that's opened up your hip flexors, and then it's easier to turn into that hip flexor, which will then enable you then to have a more chance to stay on that line. So far, narrow stance, just over hip width, and angle both of those feet out. Number three is when you're turning back and you put in too much resistance with that trail leg. So you're swinging back and really resisting with that back leg to try and get more of a load into that heel. So you're trying to get the belt buckle to turn into the pocket and feel the pressure into that heel. Now if your internal rotation on your trail hip is difficult, tight, so that's very difficult to achieve that manoeuvre, the main thing you can do there is as you swing back is just allow your right leg to straighten slightly. So then as you straighten that leg, it'll be easier to turn into that hip flexor, which will then put the pressure into the heel, and you'll stay on that early extension line, which is then a lot easier, as I said previously, to then maneuver back through the shot and get the right sequence. So 3 very effective adjustments to help achieve a better turn and improve that early extension so it no longer exists. So narrow stance just over hip width, feet both angled out, and allow that back leg to straighten. Any questions or comments, please send them through. Make sure you've given us a good thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video.